Our next guest that I'm going to introduce is Jeanne Mancini. She's the president of the March for Life. And she's worked for the Family Research Council and at the Department of Health and Human Services. Her organization, March for Life, just held their annual march in a virtual style. And so she knows all about virtual rallies, and she's joining us here today for ours. Jeanne, you're going to talk about the Equality Act and how this affects the voice of those voiceless people that have yet to be born. Jeanne?
Right, today. Yeah, thank you, Craig. Thank you so much. And to Amanda Banks as well. I'm honored to be here with you and appreciate very much all the work that you guys are doing at Family Policy Alliance. So yes, I'm speaking on behalf of the March for Life. Our issue, of course, is the inherent protection of the unborn. And those are the issues that I'll be speaking about today with regard to the Equal Rights Bill. For those of you who've attended the March for Life, you've witnessed hundreds of thousands of Americans for 48 years strong. This year was a little bit different, but 48 years strong, standing in defense of the most vulnerable among us, the unborn. At the March for Life, we work hard every day of the year to change laws, but also to change hearts and minds of Americans on this very important issue. So here's what I want to say about this act, the Equal Rights Act. While it has a name that seems to indicate that the passage of it is going to give all people, equal rights with other Americans, that description couldn't be further from the truth. Let me tell you who it's going to affect adversely. A, the bill attacks the very, oh dear. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you just fine. This is Craig in the background here.
Oh, great. Thank you, Craig.
Now I'm on the screen with you. You're doing great. And I think we've worked through our technical issues. So keep going.
Okay, Craig, where did you start hearing me so that I can just back up a tad?
We heard you all the way through. There were some people in the sound booth that weren't hearing you. That's what the problem.
Excellent. Thanks so much. I appreciate you hand holding me through this. These technical logistics sometimes can be troubling.
Yeah.
So the name, of course, implies equal rights for all Americans. But here's who it will adversely impact. First and foremost, unborn children. Literally millions of unborn children will be negatively impacted because they won't be given the chance of life, because essentially redefining pregnancy throughout this bill in different tricky ways includes abortion and specifically funding abortion with taxpayer dollars. Two, it attacks health care providers who believe strongly that abortion is wrong and that it takes the life of one of the patients that they're working with. So it defines abortion as a right, and it literally denies the ability of conscience, following one's conscience. Three, it denies the right of pro-life Americans like you and me and like all the people that march at the March for Life. And this makes up over half of the population these days in the United States, just to live by their fundamental convictions, because it's not considered an equal right. And four, very dangerously, this bill, if passed, would challenge all current state and federal limits on the public funding of abortion that have saved well over 2 million lives in the last 4 decades. So it's very dangerous. The truth is that the Equal Rights Act is anti-life and anti-American, right? I mean, it's just the foundings of our country are about being able to follow your conscience on things as important as protecting the inherent dignity of life. So we've heard claims for the desire for unity from this new administration, and yet President Biden has promised to sign this into law within his first 100 days. So he has made this act a massive priority of his administration. But Americans don't agree with him. The majority of Americans oppose taxpayer funding for abortion. The majority of Americans think that healthcare providers should have their conscience protected on something as important as taking the life of an unborn person. And importantly, the majority of Americans, the strong majority of Americans, for over 12 years strong, would limit abortion more than it's limited in this country. Of course, at the March for Life, we know that any abortion is one too many. But even 78% of Americans, including pro-choice Americans, would limit abortion more than it's limited in this country. And yet this act wants to open it wider. So we need you to oppose this act. And at the March for Life, we can help you do that. How? I'm going to ask you today to text the word equality, EQUALITY to the number 73075. Let me say that again. Text the word equality to 73075. You'll join our Contact Your Legislators campaign so that you can engage your elected officials on this terrible bill. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks. Let's get rid of this bill.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. God bless you and your work. And thank you for being that voice of, by definition, the most voiceless of our citizens. I am